Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing tonight? Hello, Trish. Hello, Freddie. Hello, Adrian. Hello, Melanie. Are you guys ready for tonight's story? And Jamie should be here shortly. I talked to her earlier today, and she's definitely coming, but she's always late. That's just Jamie. So she is should be on her way eventually. How's everybody doing tonight? This tonight's story is I'm doing good. I'm doing really good. I'm a little sore from my surgery, as you guys all know, but I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody doing? Tonight's story is a long one. There's a lot. I'm going to start taking off my makeup while we wait for Jamie to get here. So tell me everybody what everybody's doing today. I just kind of laid around today because I'm off work for the week. So I have nothing to tell. Hello, Shelly. How are you doing? I know that your father passed. I'm so sorry. Sending prayers, Shelly. I hope you are doing okay. You just chilled? Okay. You have a playoff game going? Right. Well, you're welcome, Shelly. I just feel so bad about your dad. I lost my mom when I was in my 22. And so I know how hard that is to lose a parent. It's very hard. So just sending tons of prayers to you. It is really hard to lose your parent. Are you doing good, Adrian? And you missed last night, but thank you for watching the playback. I appreciate you doing that. I hope you liked it. I know, Shelly. It is so hard. Oh, there's Jamie. You did so good tonight. So good.
Thank you.
I was just taking my makeup off. Chatting.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I like to shoot. I forgot to take my makeup off before we went on, but
I was just taking mine off now.
okay. I'll start taking mine off.
I was doing good brushing my hair. It was painful to brush my hair. You wouldn't think that would be so painful, but it was really painful.
We went to Walmart, and this time, before we went to Walmart, I only had the aloe gel. It's a gel with aloe in it. And it just felt like it wasn't doing the trick. It still freaking burned.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Walmart, and they have something without, it's like an aloe gel, but it has lidocaine in it.
Uh-huh.
And it seemed like that was a lot better. So when I put it on, it actually helped with the pain of it.
So do you feel a little better now that you have that?
Yeah, I mean, like it's only like 0.8% or something like that. So it's not like a high amount of lidocaine in it. I mean, it's over the counter, so it can't be high. But yeah, it helped. Like before, I couldn't lift up my arm; it was burning so bad.
Yeah. I can't brush my hair for other reasons, not because of sunburn, though.
No, but either way, if it hurts, it hurts.
Right.
And my stomach just isn't right today either. Hi, Eternal Darkness.
Oh, Jane. Freddie says you need solar cane. Have you ever heard of that?
What's it called?
Solar cane?
No. Where do you get it?
Where do you get it, Freddie?
Hi, Melanie. How are you?
Melanie, I hope you like tonight. We worked really hard on tonight. We did a lot of research. We practiced this morning. Oh, you get it at Walmart.
Oh, really? I didn't see it there. Yeah, I don't know what we got. Like the Walmart. I think it's Walmart brand. It's like a big blue bottle, and it says aloe with gel, and then it also says lidocaine. And yesterday, I put the aloe with gel on like 5 times. I just soaked it in and didn't do anything. Let me get the multi-chrome we're using.
Okay.
Am I ready?
You're ready?
Well, I mean, I have everything. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready. Yeah, because yesterday I was using it's Dollar General After Sun Gel with aloe, cools and moisturizes, but it didn't seem like it did either one of those. I woke up in more pain and I went to bed in.
Well, thank you, Melanie, for having faith in us. Shelly will bring on the blood. I mean, tonight is Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. There is a lot of blood in this one. He killed a lot of people. There's a lot of blood.
Yeah, you did.
This is a long one. So get a snack. Get a drink. Get a snack. Settle in.
I always like when you put your hair back, like just right there.
Well, I have to because my bangs get in the way. So,
No, I think it looks cute. I like it up there like that.
And forgive me, for those who don't know, I'm just gonna say I had surgery. I had 2 cysts in my right boob. So if I am like rubbing right here, it's because my boob really hurts. So forgive me, but like I'm like in pain right now.
Well, that's why I pulled the zipper up so it don't look like a lobster or a rooster.
You're a lobster. She's a lobster, and I had surgery. Hi, mom, son.
The only thing that's not burnt is my face, but even my ears got burned on the ends. Like all my arms.
He was a psycho. I like keep on calling him a piece of shit. So if I say that a lot, I just think he's a real piece of shit.
Hey, Metal Music. Hey, my makeup mom and son. She likes that word today.
He's a piece of shit. Ramirez is a piece of shit. Sorry.
He is more than a piece of shit.
Hey, Jen. How are you?
I think that's being too nice for him.
I don't know what else to call.
Hi, Jen.
Yes, there is a show on Netflix about him, and it was really good. I thought it was really good. How we'll talk about that too. But let's get in. We'll get into it. So Richard Ramirez, he was born on February 29th, 1960 in El Paso, Texas. He was the youngest of 5 children. His father, Julian, was prone to fits of anger and resulted in physical abuse. And believe it or not, he was actually a cop. But that's not ironic that his dad was a police officer. And at 12 years old, Richard, or what they like to call him, Richie, his strongest influence was his older cousin, Miguel, or Mike, is what they refer to him, was a decorated Green Beret. And he was a veteran for Vietnam. And he would share photos of his victims to Richie, of all his victims, of Vietnamese women that he raped and abused, and of their severed heads. And he began smoking marijuana at the age of 10, and while he was bonding with his cousin Mike. And Mike also taught him military skills such as killing, stealth, and Ramirez began seeking escape from his father's abuse with his cousin, and sleeping in local cemeteries. So, I mean, this is just, I say this really sarcastically. Like, I mean, isn't this a great role model for him? Like, I mean,
Went from one great role model to the next one.
Where this begins, like with all these like psychopaths, like you read into like all these serial killers. It all starts like with a really young age.
It's like he went from one bad role model to the next.
Right. So, Richard was present on May 4th, 1973, when his cousin fatally shot his wife, Jessie. It was during a domestic argument. After the shooting, Richard became Halloween story. Yep. Richard became sullen and withdrawn from his family and peers, and he moved in with his older sister Ruth and her husband Roberto. And Roberto was a peeping Tom, and Roberto took Richard with him on his nocturnal exploits. So, one great role model to the next. And so then he began cultivating his interest on also being with Satan and taking LSD. And then his uncle was found guilty of murdering his wife, and he was released in 1977, and he still had influence over Richard. Yeah, his whole family was insane.
He didn't have a chance.
Yeah, his family did not help him at all. And I mean, it started with the abuse, and then the cousin, and then the sister's boyfriend or husband. It just was one bad situation to the next. But the more you read about any serial killer, that's what you find. None of them had good family life. Okay, so in Ramirez's adolescence, he began to steal and have sexual fantasies that included bondage and rape. And he started working at Holiday Inn, and he started watching patrons while they slept. And his employment did not last very long. He got fired because he tried to rape one of the patrons, and the husband of the patron caught him and beat him. The charges were dropped because the husband and wife did not want to come back and go to court. So all the charges were dropped against Ramirez. And then after that, he dropped out of high school and moved to California. And so that is where he started all his spree. Like, all right. So that is where Jamie's going to pick up with the murders.
Ready?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to get caught up on. Yeah. Yeah, Melanie. Exactly. The trauma, especially in childhood. Exactly. Yep. And then amount of music. Peeping Toms are usually with women taking. Yeah, he was just a creepy. Hey, Shar.
Hey, Shar, how are you doing?
I mean, he was creepy. He's a creepy guy, and it just got worse and worse.
Yeah, and there was no rhyme or reason to him either. Shall I start?
Yep, start.
On April 10th, 1984, Ramirez murdered a 9-year-old Chinese American, Mei Luing, in the basement of the hotel where he was living, in the Tenderloin district of San Francisco. He raped and beat the girl before stabbing her to death and hanging her body from a pipe. This was Ramirez's first known killing. He was not identified as being connected to the subsequent crime spree until 2009, when Ramirez's DNA was matched to a sample obtained at this crime scene. In 2016, officials disclosed evidence of a second suspect identified through a DNA sample retrieved from the scene, who is believed to have been present at Luang's murder. Authorities have not publicly identified the suspect, described as being a juvenile at the time, and have not brought charges due to lack of evidence. On June 28, 1984, 79-year-old Jeannie Vincow was found brutally murdered in her apartment in Glassell, Los Angeles. She had been stabbed repeatedly while sleeping in her bed, and her throat slashed so deeply that she was nearly decapitated. Ramirez's fingerprint was found on a mesh screen that he used to gain access through an open window.
Okay, Shar, message it to me on Instagram.
On March 17, 1985, Ramirez attacked 22-year-old Maria Hernandez outside of her home in Rosemead, California, shooting her in the face with a .22 caliber handgun after she pulled into the garage. She survived when the bullet ricocheted off her keys she held in her hands as she lifted them to protect herself. Inside the house, her roommate, Dale Yosaki, aged 34, heard the gunshot and ducked behind a counter. When she saw Ramirez, she raised her head and got shot once in the forehead, killing her. Within an hour of the Rosemead home invasion, Ramirez pulled 30-year-old Cy Leon Veronica Yu out of her car in Monterey Park, shot her twice with a .22 caliber handgun, and fled. So it was a carjacking, and he never even took the car.
Which is stupid.
Yeah. Like he killed somebody else just pretty much for the heck of it.
Well, like you said, he had no rhyme or reason for any of what he did.
She was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. The two murders and attempted third in a single day attracted extensive coverage from news media, who dubbed the attacker, described as curly-haired with bulging eyes and wide-spaced rotting teeth, or the walk-in killer and the valley intruder.
Isn't he also gross looking? I mean, he's just like disgusting looking. Like the picture of him, I mean, he does look like a serial killer.
That's what I said then too. Like the odds of her covering her face when he aimed the gun and the keys saved her. Like the aim, I mean, like everything was, it's just amazing.
Yeah.
On March 27, 1985,
Double trouble.
Ramir- Hi, Double Trouble. On March 27, 1985, Ramirez entered a home that had been burglarized a year earlier, just outside of Whittier, California, at approximately 2 a.m., and killed the sleeping Vincent Charles Zazara, age 64, with a gunshot to his head from a .22 caliber. Zazara's wife, Maxine, age 44, was awakened by the gunshot, and Ramirez beat her and bound her hands while demanding to know where the valuables were. While he ransacked the room, Maxine escaped her bonds and retrieved a shotgun from under the bed, which was not loaded. This infuriated Ramirez. He shot her 3 times with a .22 caliber, then fetched a carving knife from the kitchen. He mutilated her body, stabbing her several times. He cut out her eyes, put them in a jewelry box, took them with her. Took them with him. Um, the autopsy determined that mutilations were postmortem. Vincent and Maxine's body were discovered by their son Peter. Ramirez left footprints from a pair of Avia sneakers in the flower bed, which the police photographed and casted. It was virtually the only evidence that the police had at the time. Bullets found at the scene were matched to those found at previous attacks, and the police determined they had a serial killer at large.
He was evil. He was he was he was a piece of shit. I just think he's so disgusting.
What was he? I've been hearing this word all day. I'm going to be going to sleep hearing it.
I just think he's so disgusting. I just can't stand him.
On May 14th, 1985, Ramirez returned to Monterey Park and entered the home of Bill Doy, age 66, and his disabled wife, Lillian, age 55. Surprising Doy in his bedroom, Ramirez shot him in the face with a .22 semi-automatic pistol as Doy went for his own shotgun. After beating and mortally wounded man into unconsciousness, Ramirez entered Lillian's bedroom, bound her with thumb cuffs, then raped her after he had ransacked the home for valuables. Bill Doy died of his injuries while in the hospital. She broke out of the thumb cuffs. Like she had to tear her thumbs up just to get out of the thumb cuffs. On the night of May 29th, 1985, Ramirez drove a stolen car to Morovia and stopped at the house of Mabel Ma Bell, age 83, and her disabled sister Florence Nettie Lang, age 81. Finding a hammer in the kitchen, he bludgeoned and bound Lang in her bedroom, then bound and bludgeoned Bell before using an electrical cord to shock the woman. After raping Lang, he used Bell's lipstick to draw the satanic pentagram symbol on her thigh, as well as on the walls of both bedrooms. The women were found 2 days later, alive but comatose. Bell later died of her injuries. The next day, Ramirez drove the same car to Burbank and sneaked into the home of Carol Kyle, age 42. At gunpoint, he bound Kyle and her 11-year-old son with handcuffs, then ransacked the house. He released Kyle to direct him to where the family's valuables were. He then raped and Ramirez also repeatedly ordered her not to look at him, telling her at one point that he would cut her eyes out. He fled the scene after retrieving the child from the closet and binding the two together again with the handcuffs. On the night of July 2nd, 1985, he drove a stolen car to Arcadia and randomly selected the house of Mary Louise Cannon, age 75, a widowed grandmother. After quietly entering Cannon's home, he found her asleep in her bedroom. He bludgeoned her into unconsciousness with a lamp, and then repeatedly stabbing her using a 10-inch butcher knife from her kitchen. She was found dead at the scene.
Jamie is a little crackly.
I can go out and come back in. Let me go out and come back in.
Yeah. Do you want
But I
to?
only hear it when you move, so I don't know.
You've been
Maybe
I
both
haven't
of us.
been moving. You were cracking the whole time.
I can go out and come back in. Can we go out?
Yeah. Do you want me to? All right. She'll be right back. Am I cracking? Because do I need to come back? Two. Just making sure it wasn't me too. Because I just heard it from her. I'm cracking too. I'll go.
Hello?
Okay. I'll go and come back. Because they say I'm cracking now too. So I'll.
Okay. What's that? It sounds worse to me.
Okay. Let me try again.
Am I crackling? I wonder if it's StreamYard then. What are you selling, Shar? No, I'm not. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Do I sound better? Well, it was just when you were talking when I'm okay now.
Oh, really? Me and Mary like
Yeah.
the same stuff?
Yeah. Okay.
I think you sound a
Freddie
little
says
bit better now than me.
okay. I'm okay now.
Should I
All
go?
right.
Should I keep
Okay,
going?
start going.
All right. On July 5th, 1985, Ramirez broke into the home in Sierra Madre and bludgeoned 16-year-old Whitney Bennett with a tire iron as she slept in her bedroom. After searching in vain for a knife in the kitchen, Ramirez attempted to strangle the girl with a telephone cord. He stated that he was startled to see electrical sparks emanate from the cord, and when his victim began to breathe, he fled the house believing that Jesus Christ had intervened and saved her. Bennett survived the savage beating, although 478 stitches were required to close the lacerations on her head. On July 7, 1985, Ramirez burglarized the home of Joyce Lucille Nelson, age 60, in Monterey Park. Finding her asleep on her living room couch, he beat her to death by using his fist and kicking her in the head. A shoe print from an Avia sneaker was left imprinted on her face. After cruising to other neighborhoods, he returned to Monterey Park and chose the home of Sophie Dickman, age 63. Ramirez assaulted and handcuffed Dickman at gunpoint, attempted to rape her, and stole her jewelry when she swore to him that he had taken everything of value. He told her to swear to Satan. On July 20th, 1985, Ramirez purchased a machete. Before driving a stolen Toyota to Glendale, California, he chose the home of Leila Needing, age 66, and her husband, Maxon, age 68. He burst into the sleeping couple's bedroom and hacked them with a machete, then killed them with the shots to the forehead from a .22 caliber handgun. He further mutilated their bodies with the machete before robbing the house of valuables. After quickly fencing the stolen items from the Needing residence, Ramirez drove to Sun Valley. At approximately 4:15 a.m., he broke into the home of Kovaneth's family. He shot the sleeping Chainarong Kovaneth in the head with a .25 caliber handgun, killing him instantly, and then repeatedly raped and beat Sam Kid Kovaneth and bounded the couple's 8-year-old son before dragging Sam Kid around the house to reveal the location of any valuable items, which he stole. During his assault, he demanded that she also swear to Satan that she was not hiding any money from him. On August 6, 1985, Ramirez drove to Northridge and broke into the home of Chris and Virginia Peterson. He crept into the bedroom, startled Virginia, age 27, and shot her in the face with a .25 caliber semi-automatic handgun. He then shot Chris in the neck and attempted to flee. Chris fought back while avoiding being hit by 2 more shots during the struggle before Ramirez managed to escape. The couple survived their injuries. On August 8th, 1985, Ramirez drove a stolen car to Diamond Bar, California. He chose the home of Sakina Abuwath, age 27, and her husband Elias Abuwath, age 31. Sometime after 2:30 a.m., he entered the house and went into the master bedroom. He instantly killed the sleeping Elias with a shot to the head from a .25 caliber handgun. He handcuffed and beat Sakina while forcing her to reveal the locations of the family's jewelry and then brutally raped her. He repeatedly demanded that she swear to Satan that she would not scream during his assault. When the couple's 3-year-old son entered the bedroom, Ramirez tied the child up and then continued to rape Sakina. After Ramirez left the home, Sakina reunited with her son and sent him to the neighbors for help. Ramirez, who had been following the media coverage of the crime, left Los Angeles, headed to San Francisco on August 18th, 1985. He entered the home of Peter and Barbara Pan. He shot the sleeping Peter, age 66, in the temple with a .25 caliber handgun. He then beat and sexually assaulted Barbara, age 62, before shooting her in the head and leaving her for dead. At the crime scene, Ramirez used lipstick to scrawl a pentagram and the phrase "Jack the Knife" on the bedroom wall. Ramirez again left a shoe print at the scene that detectives discovered and matched to a specific Avia shoe. Upon the discovery of the make and the U.S. distribution of Ramirez's Avia shoes, it was found that only 6 of them existed in the size 11 and a half. With 5 of them shipped to Arizona, it was evident that the one pair of its size and kind belonged to Richard. When it was discovered that the ballistics and shoe print evidence from the Los Angeles crime scenes matched the Pan crime scene, San Francisco's then Mayor Dianne Feinstein divulged the information, including the caliber, in a televised press conference. This leak infuriated detectives in the case as they knew the killer would be following the media coverage, which gave him opportunity to destroy crucial forensic evidence. Ramirez, who had indeed been watching the press conference, dropped his size 11.5 Avia sneakers over the side of the Gold Gate Bridge that night. He remained in the area for a few more days before heading back to the Los Angeles area. They had him on American Horror Story.
Yeah. I mean, the press, they really jacked that one, didn't they?
On August 24th, 1985, Ramirez traveled 76 miles south of Los Angeles in a stolen orange Toyota to Mission Viejo. That night, he arrived at the home of James Ramirez Jr., who had just returned from a family vacation to Rosarito Beach in Mexico. Ramirez's son, 13-year-old James Romero III, happened to be awake and heard Ramirez's footsteps outside of the house. Thinking there was a prowler, James went in to wake his parents, and Ramirez fled the scene. James raced outside and noted the color, make, and style of the car, as well as a partial license plate. Romero contacted the police with this information, believing that he had just chased away a thief. After this encounter, Ramirez broke into the house of Bill Carnes, age 30, and his fiancée Inez Erickson, age 29, through a back door. Ramirez entered the sleeping couple's bedroom and awakened Carnes when he cocked his .25 caliber handgun. He shot Carnes 3 times in the head before turning his attention to Erickson. Ramirez told her that he was the Night Stalker and forced her to swear she loved Satan as he beat her with his fist and pounded her with neckties from the closet. After stealing what he could find, Ramirez dragged Erickson to another room before raping her. He then demanded cash and more jewelry and made her swear on Satan that there was no more. Before leaving the home, Ramirez told Erickson, "Tell them that the Night Stalker was here." Erickson untied herself and went to a neighbor's house to get help for her severely injured fiancé. Surgeons removed 2 of the bullets from his head, and he survived the injuries.
Okay.
So that was all the murders.
Okay, and there is like a few more, but they can't prove that he did them or did not.
Right.
But they did talk about them, but they did not classify those as his murders because there's not evidence to link them to Ramirez.
He also took a 8 or 9-year-old girl and blindfolded her, and then took him back to his house and said he was sorry, but continued to rape her, and then blindfolded her and took her back home. But because she was a child,
so they're okay. And then
Eternal Darkness. It was a lot to memorize. I'm sorry, I read a lot of it.
I don't have everything memorized either, so there's a lot of notes and there's a lot to this. So Melanie, she was there at the time of when this happened. She was 10 years old, and she helped us with a lot of the information. Thank you, Melanie.
Yes, thank you.
She actually wrote something for me to read, and I'm going to read that now. So this is what Melanie wrote for tonight. And so this is from Melanie. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. The name is infamous. His wicked crimes truly shocking. It's common to read about serial killers. Some people spend years, decades reading about them. It's actually rare to be alive while one is active, even more rare to be in the area of terror. That was me, 10 years old, 11 when he was caught. And then life felt safe again. Living in Ontario, California, that was normal. Typical crimes we were used to. Being cautious of that they weren't as well known of the blood Crips as what most were aware of. It wasn't as intense as LA, but it was reality. I can't recall and how far into the crime spree Ramirez was when I was aware of him. Life was different with only local newspapers, magazines to learn about what was going on in our community and the world. But at some point, my mom couldn't shield me from being aware of him. It wasn't until I was in my 20s I could fully know his crimes actually included. But in the summer of 1985, I can say every kid was pretty much limited to staying home. For the most part, parents were extra cautious of where they were. I didn't understand why I couldn't do my normal summer activities, why I couldn't sleep over with my friends, why we had extra cautious parents at night. I was left at home during the day because my sister had been out before I was 10. Being left home when my mom was at work was normal, but not being able to go play with my friends was hard. Neighbors were watching us like hawks. Cars that belonged there were treated suspicious. The only other thing that stands out in the out is the extra hot mixed with fear is a cocktail I never hoped to experience again. I don't recall having conversations about Ramirez until it became personal. A friend I had moved to school, so we didn't go to see each other often, but we were still very close. I'm still not sure the connection she had to Joyce Nelson. All I remember is being told that she had a death in the family. It was years later that I happened to be researching the Night Stalker and ran across the name Nelson. And it hit me like a punch in the chest. She was a victim of Night Stalker. And I honestly can't recall the couple. It was one of them somehow connected to someone we knew. Church, maybe? Funny. You blocked from your childhood. Some years my mom brought it up, the couple, because I mentioned my friend's relative, another Joel. I had that 6th degree to 3 victims, but it was less than 6. Way too close for me to want. As much as my mom wanted to protect me from the stories, she had to also make sure I was cautious. She didn't say there's a serial killer on the loose, but I was aware to make sure my windows were locked, especially at night. But the scary thing is, it didn't matter if it was day or night. He hit all hours. It didn't wait for the cloak of darkness. He was so bold. He break into homes in broad daylight. He was cocky and he was uncaring of the time. He was uncaring of the time and he was evil. Think once someone is caught, the monster you have built up in your mind really isn't that scary once they are caught. He can't say that with him. He was the epitome of a monster of evil, and he was real, real evil, living, breathing, and his crimes were what you would only think someone would make up for books of movies, and there was no screenplay. Seeing now, talking with friends and family, they are tired to shelter us kids as best as possible and teaching us to never go anywhere alone without an adult. Years later, I realized why he had realized why he attacked and raped and murdered anyone. Kids, men, women, race didn't matter. Where you lived didn't matter. Up and down California and possibly Arizona, possibly nowhere was safe. I do remember the day he was caught. It was during the summer of 85, August. Neighbors actually cheering as if a sports game was on TV and they were all the ruckus. My phone rang. My mom picked up the call and the minutes went by and she hung up the phone and quickly turned the news on. And there it was. A man was shown in a cop car, head banged up, and people were cheering the street and yelling at the man in the car. And he looked to be grateful for being in that squad car. And that was unusual. Awesome. I'll check it after the live. Okay, Shar? And the air felt lifted from my mom. And she told me we don't have to be scared anymore. They caught the bad guy. The reign of evil had been stopped. And the best part was the people of the community who caught him. He wasn't just held while the cops away to him, and there was probably no doubt there would have been godly kill him if the cops did not been called, and that would have been better fitting. Well, that's really not for each of us to decide in our own mind. We probably wouldn't have known much about him had this justice been fulfilled. The evil that was him would have been stayed in imaginations mostly. The reality of it is still to this day is far more sadistic than any twisted horror book or movie I have known. The horror books don't scare me. A real man did. When you have the unfortunate geographic of living in the same space and time as the real boogeyman, books and films don't have the same frightening allure that someone real. How can anything ever top reality? The Exorcist scared the crap out of me when I watched it one night alone, and I didn't watch it again until I was in my 20s. But the fear from the film was before Richard Ramirez. Ramirez was a human, and he walked among us for 16 months. No rhyme, no reason, letting us know no peace or where was safe. Safe wasn't real. He was out there somewhere. Thank you, Melanie, for writing that. That was amazing.
Yes, very amazing. Thank you so much.
I just hope you guys all enjoyed it. I cannot imagine living through that and being 10 years old. That had to be the scariest time.
Thank you for taking the time to write that too.
Yeah. And thank you, Char, for sending me that. I'll check it out after the live. And okay, so
I'm surprised the cops even ever found him, because he never did like the same thing over and over again.
Right. And let's get to the capture, because now I'm going to actually read about the capture. So the capture happened August 30th, 1985. And so he took a bus to Tucson, Arizona, to visit his brother. And he was the lead story. And you got to remember, so it was like just on the newspaper and television programs across California, which isn't not like what it is today. Can you imagine if it was like it was today? He wouldn't have got very far at all, because
everybody's on their phones now.
Everybody would have had a cell phone and pictures. He would have not got far at all.
No, I agree.
Anyway, so he was on that, and he was going to meet his brother that morning, and he walked past some officers that morning, and they were hoping to catch him. He walked by these group of Mexican women, and they started saying El Matador. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. And it means the killer. And Ramirez saw his face on the newspaper racks, and then he started running across the Santa Ana freeway and to attempt to carjack a woman. And so why he was trying to carjack these bystanders started pursuing him. They surrounded him and started beating him up. And they called the cops, and that's how they caught him. Is all these bystanders stepped in and started beating the crap out of him. Citizen arrest. Yay! Yay for this!
About time.
I mean, I don't blame them. He's been terrorizing these people for like she said, 16 months. I mean, he deserved it. It couldn't have
worse. He deserved worse.
He deserved way worse. Thank you, Melanie, for sharing that. I'm telling you that when I every time I read that, when I was writing it, I was like, oh my God, it was amazing. Thank you so much for doing that and sharing that. That meant a lot.
And your words were very beautiful, how you wrote it.
I just, it was for you to share that with us. I felt very honored for you to share that with us.
Yes, very honored.
And I hope we did you justice in reading that. And so then.
Thank you for allowing us to read it.
Yes. So court began July 22nd, 1988 is when the trial began. And he shows up with a pentagram drawn on his hand, yelling, hell, like the piece of shit that he is. You knew I was going to say it, so I'm going to say it. And so then August 14th, the trial was because Phyllis Singletary, she did not arrive to court, the courtroom. Later that day, she was found shot to death. The jury was feared that Ramirez had something to do with it, but he did not. It was actually her boyfriend, and they found him later on. He committed suicide, but people were worried that Ramirez found somebody to offer that he did not have anything to do with it. Excuse me. We were just appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. September 20th, 1989, Ramirez was convicted of all charges: 13 counts of murder, 5 attempts of murder, and 11 sexual assaults, and 14 burglaries, break-ins. We'll just say break-ins because I can't talk. Break-ins. November 7th, 1989, he was sentenced to death in California's gas chamber. Okay. The next part. Now, I want you guys to think, because I think this is just creepy as all get out. He had romantic relationships. He was in prison. Women, he had fans writing him letters and paintings. One of them, 1985, Doreen Leroy wrote him 75 letters. He proposed to her in 1988, and then they were married on October 3rd, 1996, at San Quentin State Prison. How romantic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So romantic.
What kind of person wakes up and says, I want to date a murderer, rapist?
A serial killer. Yeah. Be a fangirl. And she said that she was going to commit suicide if he was sentenced to death. That was her protest. If he was sentenced to death, that she would commit suicide. But she ended up leaving him in 2009 because she realized that he was guilty of killing the first victim, Mayling. Was it Mayling? Did I say her name right?
Yeah, Mayling.
Yeah. So she realized that he killed the little girl. Duh.
She didn't care about the murders or any of that. It was the 9-year-old girl that turned her off.
Right. I don't understand that either. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
do they go to the prison and write to all of them until one answers them back? I
don't know. There had to be some screws loose in her head to think that
but she wasn't going to get killed herself.
She had to be insane. No,
I mean, I think there's a limit on going after the bad boys. I know girls get attracted to bad boys, but it's not the killing bad boys.
There is more. She had to be insane to I'm going to marry Ramirez. It took her that long to leave him. Yes, that long. That long. Yeah, Melanie, that long to leave him. And then, get this, there was another one. When Ramirez died, he was engaged to Christine Lee. There was another one.
Makes you wonder what they're willing to do for him
And
while they're out.
Like, nuts. They were completely nuts.
Yeah, they do. They do need to get their head checked short.
What did they think that was going to happen if he got out? He was going to rape and kill them. He's a murderer. Like, what are you thinking? You're insane. Insane.
You need to set your standards a little bit higher.
Okay. Yeah, he does. He died of like cancer and hepatitis. We will get to that. Okay, so mental health, yeah. Okay, so a psychiatrist, Michael H. Stone, described Ramirez as a made psychopath as opposed to a born psychopath. Well, duh, his family made him. We kind of, I mean, his dad was abusive. His uncle did not help the situation, and the sister's husband.
He had a brother. I wonder how the brother turned out. Like, was he subject to all the same stuff Richard was?
Right. Well, he was the youngest of 5. So there was other siblings.
I guess I'm lucky I was only 10. If I had been older and knew more, I'd probably be even more terrified.
Oh, no joke. I would have been terrified.
Him getting cancer and hepatitis,
he had
that's
cancer.
karma.
Yeah. I hope it was a painful death. I know that's not a nice thing to say, but okay, so Ramirez had a I can't say this word. What did we decide? Schizoid personality disorder. And Stone also stated that Ramirez was knocked unconscious and almost died on multiple occasions before he was 6, and later developed a temporal epilepsy, aggressivity, hypersexual disorder, which we figured out. Duh.
I was also saying that he didn't stand a fighting chance. I wonder if his childhood would be different also had he did everything he did if he grew up in a normal childhood. I mean, his dad was a cop. How was he?
Well, I wonder if if the state would have stepped in, if there was, social service stepped in, if there was so much like more signs of abuse, if people would have you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because nobody stepped in and took care of them. Those kids.
I don't know. It gets me though that he can go from a 9-year-old girl to a 91-year-old woman. Like,
yeah, he really did not care who he hurt.
No, he didn't. And that's weird because usually
they do have a preference.
Yeah.
He did not.
He got off too easy by dying.
I think he did too. That's why I said Okay, so Ramirez died of complications of secondary B-cell lymphoma at Marin General Hospital in Green Bay, California, June 7th, 2013. He also had chronic substance abuse and chronic hepatitis C, a viral infection. He was 53 years old, and he was on death row for 23 years before he died. So that is how he died. I hope it was painful.
Me too.
I know. Like that, having kids. I mean, I was always terrified. Like, I mean, if I turned my back and my kids weren't right beside me, I'm like, where are they? And they're like, I'm right here, Mom. I'm like, don't move. That was like the scariest thing about with my kids. Like I was like a freak about my kids being right beside me the whole time in stores. And I'm sure every mom like that was the biggest worry about like your kids, like somebody. But this is why these stories are the reason why people freak out about your kids getting taken.
My kids used to tattle on me. Like, Mom made me go in the women's bathroom at Walmart when they were little. You don't know what kind of weirdos are in those bathrooms.
I mean, I was so glad that they had those family bathrooms for the longest times because, you know, for a mom of boys.
Yeah.
We used
I agree.
those until, you know, they were a certain age that's, you know, you can't, until they were old enough that you can't take them, like, you know, like, because, and then even then I was like right outside that bathroom. And I would have walked into a men's bathroom if I thought that it was too long to get my
If it took them too long, I'd be like, where are you guys at? And even when they were little, they're like, Mom, I'm going to go play outside in the backyard. I would go sit out there with them.
Right. I don't know. Like, but stories like that make you freak out.
Well, my thing is that my older son,
I took him with me until it was not acceptable to take
my
them to the
older
bathroom.
son's dad always threatened to take him and run off to Puerto Rico.
I mean, I really did take them until
that's why I think that's why I was extra close to them. I was always fearing that he would get taken.
Me either. I never let them go, oh, pick this out without me in another aisle. No, you're going to be down the same aisle with me. No, you can't go look at the toys without. Nope, we'll go to each. You're staying with me.
It's just so weird because when I was like 10 years old, my parents, I don't know if you heard of Dorney Park. Have you heard of Dorney Park?
Yeah.
In Wildwater Kingdom. At 10 years old, my dad used to drop me off, and I would use a payphone when I'm done to come pick me up. Yeah. Now the idea of dropping your 10-year-old kid at an amusement park?
Yeah.
Never. But it's just amazing what 20 years difference has done.
I know. My mom used to drop us off at the pool and leave us there all day. I would never do that with my kids.
Before those people would hide because they thought that they would be made fun of, or but now it's like everybody came out of who they are and they just do it.
That would just freak me out. I could not, even now that I don't know if I could leave my kids at the pool all day and be.
You've heard of it, Char? Yeah, it's like the amusement park, and then the water park is behind it. But we had season passes, and my dad would just drop me off, and I would use a payphone to call him when I was done, saying, "Come get me." And I would even wait out in the parking lot till he got there. Like, we didn't worry about that stuff then. And it's just sad what the world has become.
Yeah.
You would think my parents dropped me off. That's how I was raised, that I would just drop my kids off, but I was the total opposite.
I know, you just can't. I mean, it's just weird. I know.
Oh my God, Adrian, my youngest, he would hide in those circle clothes racks. I had this really tall guy the one time point in the middle and say, "He's in here." My heart dropped. Jaron would always hide in the clothes racks, the round ones.
I remember I did that once. I almost got left. And I never did that again.
That was like the worst fear ever. It's amazing how we use the same multi-chrome that Crystal got us, and our eyes look different.
In the same palette.
We used Morphe 35V. Tammy gifted me this one.
And then we also used Sydney Grace.
Gifted from Crystal.
And in Alexandrite.
The same color we used, but yet mine looks like a different color than yours. Maybe it's our lights.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. I think it's just...
My youngest one would try to hide in the Walmart in the clothing, and I would freak out. I guess every kid does it to us. Yep, that was the one.
I just think, oh yeah, I just think it's such a different time. Like,
oh, thank you, Betty. You know, a long time ago they came out with those. They were like handcuffs attached to like a book bag kind of thing, and they got rid of them because some people said they were like restraining the kids. But I thought, I wish I would have found them because at least you know they're attached to you, even if they get a little bit off.
I don't think they're a bad idea.
No, I didn't think so.
I mean, you know, you go to like, say you're at like an amusement park fair, like it's hard to hold your kid's hand the whole time, and you're trying to like get stuff or carry food, and your hands are full. Like, I can see why you have those.
Yeah, they got rid of them though because people were complaining that they were restraining children. I wish I would have got one though. It would have been a lot less stressful. Oh yeah, I forgot mascara. I always forget mascara.
Did you do the complexion already, or?
Yeah.
Well, you just sped through.
I'm good like that. If I could find my mascara, I'd be good like that. Found one. I could probably find them if I put them away where they belong.
And here you organized everything.
I did. It's just that when I use it, I don't put it back where it belongs.
Yeah, it was like a leash.
They had two of them. One was like a book bag with
Yeah,
a rope.
you put different
And
colors.
then it had like a wrist thing that you Velcroed on.
Yeah.
And then there was just another one where you Velcroed one to your arm and you Velcroed one to theirs.
Yeah, we probably used different colors.
Yeah, it was like a leash.
Jamie, we probably used different colors for our eyes, not the same color.
Probably. I used the purple one, the dark blue one, the black one.
I used the black one, and then I used kind of that green, like a green. Do you want to? I'll tell you what colors I used. I figured you were going to use the purples, so I didn't. I used this one, the top one.
Yeah, I didn't use it.
Use the black one.
I used the bottom four.
I used this one, that one, these two, and that one.
I used the bottom right-hand corner four. Do they still have them, Adrian?
I think they do. I see them occasionally because people, I mean, oh, your grandson has one? That's cool.
I wish I would have got one.
You can buy one for your grandbaby.
I'm Nana.
I know, but
Nana or Nona?
a grandbaby. You're gonna go with Nana?
Nana or Nona? I'm not sure. Somebody told me Nona the one time, and I think that one sounds pretty. It's just getting used to it because I called my mom. I had my kids call my mom Nana. Or they just called her Nana. I don't know how. I think she insisted that she was Nana.
Right.
My mom's that kind of person. Like, don't call me grandma. Call me Nana. But it's not up to the kids with my mom. It's up to her. Maybe I'll just see what the baby ends up calling me on his own or her own. I'm like excited to see if it's a her or him though.
Yeah.
Knowing my life, they'll want to be surprised, and I won't know for like a long time.
But it sounds like he wants to know. Because you said he wants to know, right?
Well, they were trying so much that she's already bought like a closet full of both girls and boys, like baby clothes.
Right.
And I'm like, why did you get both? You don't know. And I guess they're going to keep on trying till they have to use it. I don't know. But twins, Ozzy and Jaren are very capable. Like my mom's mom was a twin, but then my dad's nephews, my cousins, were twins. So it's in Ozzy and Jaren to have twins.
My kids sat in the cart until I could not pick them up anymore.
If Jaren has twins, between the two of them, my hair will be gone. I will have no more hair.
Why? Just
because Jaren already wants me to come closer so that when they have to both work, I can stay with the baby instead of like daycare or like a babysitter. They want me to watch it or him or her. But if there's two of them between Ozzy and Jaren, yeah, I'm gonna pull my hair out. I would make my oldest daughter sit on the bottom of the shopping cart and my youngest daughter in the car seat. And both of my boys had to hold on to each side. They couldn't go nowhere without me. Tammy doesn't have water?
I have a 7-Up tonight. I do have a water too.
I have my water. It's right here.
I have a water and a 7-Up.
But when we went on the boat yesterday, I drank like a gallon of water. I'm watered out.
Occasionally, I have another. Occasionally, most of the time, I have water. But come on, I had surgery. Give me a break.
Well, look at mine. Look.
You have a burn.
Yes, and it burns. My skin is like on
I
fire.
can show you what I have.
And then I was like, oh my God, it's lifted up. That's not a good thing. That's like sun what is it called? Sun poisoning. What I was feeling was my shoulder surgery scar. That's why it felt like it was lifted. I had rotator cuff surgery. So I was feeling the scar the whole time. And I'm like, oh my God, it's like really lifting.
Your door.
Yeah, and you can see like on this side.
Your
Like
door.
you don't see it until you see that. Like, and it's just so weird that my face just got tanned. It didn't get burnt. But my ears on the ends did. So I think the sun was like behind me on my shoulders and on my back.
Yeah.
Which is actually worse because I sleep on my back.
All right. Finish look. I'm done.
I'm done too. Hope they're okay. Pleased about what? What did I do wrong?
She did not use sunscreen. That's what she did not do.
No, I asked for some, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I left it at home." Like, well, that's not helping. And he wouldn't go in the shade. He was right there under the sun the entire time. I showed you pictures. I sent you pictures of that sun.
True. She did get a little crispy.
Yeah. But if I don't peel, it'll be a really nice tan.
You're gonna peel.
I know. But we can hope.
You're gonna peel.
Oh yeah, I know.
So tomorrow, are you going live with Crystal?
No, we decided not to do it this week because she's had a lot on her plate lately. So
Okay. Just
we're
checking.
taking tomorrow off.
Okay.
We'll probably continue next Sunday.
Okay. No
But
live.
we'll still be on Thursday mornings at 10 a.m.
Okay. So no live until Thursday for Jamie and Crystal. And then next Friday will be slumber party.
Yes.
All right. And so, but these are the finished looks for tonight. And I hope you guys enjoyed this story. And thank you again, Melanie, for helping us with this story.
Thank you.
Really appreciated it.
The fact that you let us tell the story. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And what you wrote was absolutely wonderful. I appreciate it that you gave us a chance to tell that.
And she said hearing it was therapeutic, and I'm glad.
Yes. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening and coming tonight. We deeply appreciate it. And we hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will see you guys next time. Have a good night. We love you.
Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.